Back here, WHIP, Philly's #1 college radio station. The last time I saw Troy Brown, he was wearing a multicolored sweater down on Radio Row in Indianapolis. It was myself and Ty Law and Troy, and that was a great conversation. We were talking the good old days of the New England Patriots when they won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. So let's welcome in number 80, Troy Brown. Troy, Zach Gelb here. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Just headed down to my kid's school right now, man. That's about it.
Is that right? Does your kid play football? Is he trying to become an ex-NFL superstar like yourself?
I have 2 soccer players and they play basketball too. So no football in the action right now. Let's see what happens.
Well, that's great to know, but you saw Wade Phillips had some controversial comments the other day about Wes Welker. How does Bill Belichick or any players address these comments after they're made? Because I know you were around when Freddie Mitchell ran his mouth. The Steelers players have also ran their mouth in the past. How are these comments addressed in the Patriots locker room?
You got to refresh me on some of the comments first of all. So I didn't catch you into that one just yet.
Well, he said Wes Welker's not an elite receiver. You know, he's not a big athletic guy. That's what Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator of the Texans, said.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't know big and athletic made you an elite receiver. But I do know that one thing that Wes Welker has been able to do is that he's been able to put up more numbers than any other big receiver in the NFL over the last 5 or 6 years. So he may do it in a different manner than some of these guys do it. And it may be redefining how, some of these teams look at how they want to play the game. But I tell you what, it's been an elite performance by anybody else's standards that I can think of. And I've heard a lot of other All-Pro and Pro Bowl wide receivers giving the same compliment. So he's been able to put up a lot of numbers, and I'm not saying that because I played with the Patriots, but I played with Wes Welker for years. But he has proven himself to be a very clutch guy and put the numbers up to proof.
How does Bill address these comments? Does he even talk about it in practice?
Nah, those things won't even come up in practice. He may put up a little bulletin board and tease Wes a little bit about it, and try to get him motivated a little bit to go out and play even harder. But, it's just another way to try to distract what they're doing, and I don't just try to get the Patriots or Wes to play out of his mind, out of his game or whatever, but that's just not the way things work around there. You just go out there and play your game and believe in that part of it and not try to do something to prove somebody else wrong. So, those comments, they won't affect Wes, they won't affect Tom in any manner, but I won't be surprised if they had a huge game against the Texans.
Wes has been an imperative part of this offense. He's Brady's go-to guy. So is also Gronk. And Wes Welker's going to be a free agent this upcoming season. They didn't pay him last year. They gave him the franchise tag. Do you think the Pats will finally pay up Wes Welker, give him a 2-3-year deal after the season ends?
When you're talking about the Patriots, that's one of the hardest questions to answer. I don't know. It depends on what Wes is looking for. If it's going to be the maximum, I kind of see it being a difficult situation for him to get that done from the Patriots. They will do what they did with him last year, give him an opportunity to go out and test the market, and I believe have faith that he will come back to them with that offer and see if they will either match that or beat it or come close to it some kind of way. That's just my belief on the whole situation. We'll see what happens with it, unless somebody just comes in with some astronomical number that blows what the Patriots are willing to play him out of the water, then you will see the Patriots probably walk away from that offer because I don't think they're going to go over what they have them plugged to pay. And that's just the way they've always operated, and I kind of see them kind of doing the same thing with Wes Welker.
Wes has been such a dominant receiver in this area for the last few years that he's been here. If you're a cornerback, how do you guard Wes Welker? What's the best way to try to limit his numbers?
Man, you got to get up there and you got to compete. And when you do compete with it, you get in the space, you try to jam him, you try to reroute him and do all those things. Those things kind of they affect any receiver when you do that type of stuff if you're good at that. But the downside of that is a lot of DBs aren't really comfortable doing that because they put themselves at risk at getting beat very quickly. And then if they're having some success doing it, you'll see the Patriots start to move Wes around a little bit, put him in motion, spike those guys off, put him in bunch formation some, have him come out of the backfield every once in a while, and those types of things put a lot of stress and force the defense to communicate a lot more than what they care to, and it causes some confusion a lot. So it's tough when you're dealing with a wide receiver like that, especially when he has the knowledge that he has of the game, where the hole is going to be at, how to beat man coverage, where the leverage is, and how to use everybody on the field to help himself get open. But, that my thing would be just I would give it everything I got, and I will put, all my marbles on the fact that I will get up there and try to get physical with him. If I'm going to get beat, I'm going to get beat being aggressive. And that's what I would do with my situation if I had to go here.
Patriots play the Texans at Gillette Stadium, 4:30 on Sunday. NFL playoffs. Patriots look to get back to the AFC Championship game. Troy Brown, three-time Super Bowl champion, joins us right now. Zach Gelb here with you on WHIP Radio. And Troy, let's get to Brandon Lloyd. Early in the season, he struggled. He dropped some passes. Now it really looks like Brady and him are starting to develop a good relationship. As a receiver, and you had a great relationship with Tom, how do you build that relationship, and what have you seen from Brandon Lloyd lately?
It's something you have to build trust in, and that trust comes from the off-season workout. It comes from the way you perform in practice. Are you doing the right things? And it's hard to develop those kinds of trust things with a quarterback when you're not doing the right thing in practice. So a lot of that has to be developed long before you set foot on the football field. And, I thought Brandon did a good job of doing that early in the season, of building that. And he had like a 6-week span there where he didn't do much at all. And I still think a lot of that was due to the whole trust factor. And comes along with practice and game performance too. And then he had, I think it was the San Francisco game where he had the East game, a East breakout game for him, which that's the way the Patriots are going to need him to play. I think to be successful, we'll see where Gronk is. How he's coming along with his help. But they're going to need Brandon Lloyd to step up and play like he did in that 49ers game, I think, to have a chance to run through this AFC.
You talk about those tight ends, and that's such a big part of what the Patriots do. We're going to see what we get out of Gronk this week coming back from injury. I know he played in that Dolphins game. But Hernandez, he hasn't had a bad year, but it looks like he's a little bit more hurt than what the Patriots injury report is saying. He's dropping a lot more balls this year.
Yeah, I think he dropped some balls last year, too. But, you look at not 100% on all of his catches, and there's a lot of catches back there he should have caught also. He's a dynamic player when he gets the ball in his hands and can do a lot of different things. But, when you deal with a high ankle injury like that, those things don't really heal up until the following year. And even then, it depends on how bad it was. You still feel some after effects from the injury, scar tissue and all that stuff. So, and whether it's affecting the way he plays, or not, some injuries can affect the way you play. I can catch the ball at certain angles. But, so he's battled through it. I've seen him in the last couple of weeks of the season where he looked a whole lot better than he did when he first tried to come back from the injury. So that has to be a positive sign for them earning that ride, that he has a chance now to come back out 2 weeks, with 2 weeks off and come back a little bit healthier and faster, especially to maybe not drop some of those balls and work on that type of stuff, work on catching the football and focus and all that stuff. So, he's a dynamic player. You put he and Gronk together, it's just a powerful combination that a lot of teams have a hard time figuring out how to match up with it because they're just that good football players. And you go to that 2 tight end, 3 tight end set that the Patriots start the season out with, I don't think anybody's had an answer to it. And you may see some of that because a lot of teams haven't seen that since Hernandez got hurt, and then Gronk got hurt when Hernandez came back, and so it's been kind of a lost thing that the Patriots were doing, but teams really didn't have an answer for that when they were out there. But, those guys get the Patriots a tough package to stop there when those guys on the field together.
We're talking to Troy Brown. And Troy, last time Houston came to town, it was 42-14. The Patriots just absolutely destroyed them. Do you think the Houston Texans, we all know they have J.J. Watt. He's a very good defender, if not one of the best linemen in the league. Do you think they have the pieces to slow down Tom Brady on this offense? Can we expect a closer game this time, or is it going to be more lopsided like it was the first time these two teams met up?
Well, I think it'll be a little bit closer game. I think both teams will probably have enough film now to learn something about each other. And I'm sure each team will come with a little bit of a different wrinkle. But the thing with the Houston Texans is they kind of are what they are. They are one team that build their passing game off of the run, and that play action stuff with Foster's been so good that they're able to use that very effectively. If you take that away from them, then they just become, not even an average team. And that's been the problem with the Texans down the stretch is that teams can kind of take that away from them, and then they can't do anything. But against the Bengals, they were able to get 140 yards rushing from Foster, and that makes things a little bit easier for them. But the place where the Houston Texans struggle is that they went into Cincinnati and they played them, and they kicked 4 field goals. You're not going to beat the New England Patriots kicking 4 field goals, in a game. And I think that the Patriots will do some of the same things they did with J.J. Watt the last time. And everybody thinks that he didn't have a great game because he didn't have any sacks. But J.J. Watt really had a decent game where he was able to get a little bit of pressure on Brady at times and get a few hits on him at times in that game. And that sometimes can be just as effective as getting a sack. But they will do some other things to kind of take care of him. They won't show him the exact same look they showed him last time. It'll be something different they'll use to take care of him in this playoff game.
I was watching ESPN this morning on SportsCenter, and they were talking about how Bill Belichick brought out the rackets to try to replicate what J.J. Watt's going to do with swatting down the football. I'm just curious, what's Tom Brady like in practice this week before a big game? You played in your fair share of big games in Foxborough.
Oh, yeah. Yes, indeed. He's pretty intense, pretty focused, and so was everybody else around there when I was there. Everybody was just in tune with everything, paying attention to details like crazy, spending a little extra time in your playbook and in the film room, doing those things to get ready for the game. And trust me, Tom is magnificent in those situations, but the whole time he's so intense and so focused on what he's doing, he's still enjoying it because he's still smiling and getting that stuff in, especially when things are going well for him in practice. So you couldn't ask for a better leader on any football field than what Tom Brady brings to the team, because he knows, he has to have his football team, sharp and have it on point. But he also needs them to be relaxed and able to focus and think through tough situations.
We're talking to Troy Brown. And Troy, a few more questions right before we let you run. Talib and Dennard, it's very important that these two guys play this week because, to me, the Patriots secondary is best when you see Devin McCourty in that safety position. Do you have that same feel with me that it's important that Talib and Dennard play this week so you could bump McCourty to safety?
I think you definitely saw a difference in the way that defense played when Talib and Dennard were on the field and at the corner positions. I think we saw the Patriots give up a few more plays that the Miami Dolphins didn't hit in that game, and they gave up a few more open catches that were uncontested than when Talib and Dennard were out there. So, yeah, I feel more comfortable when those guys are on the football field. I feel more comfortable when McCoy is playing the safety position. I feel more comfortable when, what's his name, 24, when he's playing inside on the slot.
Arrington.
Kyle Arrington is playing on the slot. They seem to be more comfortable in there playing those positions than they are on the outside corner position. So that defense looked a whole lot different when those guys were playing those positions. And they seem to play a lot faster, just totally as a defense, and maybe took a few more chances with some pressure. So I like them when they're on the football field. I like that defense when they're on the football field, for sure.
Ninkovich, he went down with that hip injury. People expect him to play. But I would be shocked if he plays his normal amount of plays in this game. That looked like a real nasty injury against the Miami Dolphins. Who do you think could help out Ninkovich? What other defensive linemen need to step up to relieve Ninkovich this week if he can't go the normal amount of plays that he usually is accustomed to?
Well, I mean, it's going to be the way he walked up the field, man. It was a little bit, scary, I think, for Patriots fans to see that. And the way he gingerly walked off the field on that hip, it kind of brought back a lot of memories of, the way Roosevelt Colvin left the field a few years ago. And I obviously don't think that's the case right now. They haven't put him on injured reserve or anything, but it was still just a nasty way to see a player leave the field and walk in there gingerly. So they're going to have to use probably a multitude of people to come in and do what he did. Jermaine Cunningham's going to have to step up and make some plays for this football team. I know he can do a lot of different things like that too. I just don't know if you can replace what he brought to the game. I think mentally, I thought he was a pretty sharp guy. Reminded me a lot of Mike Vrabel in those situations when he was on the football field. So those types of players are usually hard to replace, but you can always kind of do that with 2 or 3 different guys doing different things that Ninkovich was so good at.
Final one here as we're talking to three-time Super Bowl champion Troy Brown. And Troy, to me, it's always so interesting to get your take on the Patriots because you were both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. I remember when Mangini came to you and said he was going to put you at cornerback in that 03 season. And I think you're going to see Tom Brady and Peyton Manning next week in Mile High in Denver. Now, as a cornerback, you did have to prepare for Peyton Manning once in the playoffs. What is that like preparing for number 18?
Oh, just an intense moment. A week of practice. I just never seen so many guys, put down the trash can basketball, the dominoes, the back cap, and just focus in on number 18 and all of his targets and his wide out and studying, trying to figure out tendencies, trying to figure out things that they don't do as well and take away some of their strong points. Well, it's hard to take away Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and so many good players that they have in that offense. You just don't have enough people to do it. And you're going to be left with somebody one-on-one against one of the best players in the league. Every day is another play that was great for him. Just an intense week, a very intense week of practice when you're facing Peyton Manning.
Troy, thanks so much for the time. You're always great when you come on this show. I appreciate it. Best of luck this week, and let's talk to you again real soon. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.